The world laughed at him. They said he had nothing special, that he would never rise. But they didn't see the fire inside, a quiet fire that would slowly, relentlessly change everything. Welcome to Still Rise, where we explore the stories of silent effort, its unstoppable determination, and the small daily actions that lead to extraordinary success. This is the channel for those who believe in the power of consistency, patience, and self-growth without the need for noise or applause. Today you're about to witness a journey that proves success doesn't shout. It whispers patiently to those who are willing to listen and act. He remembered the day when the world seemed against him, when every step felt heavy and every dream felt distant. Yet inside him burned a quiet determination, a fire that needed no recognition, no applause. While others searched for talent, opportunities, or shortcuts, he understood the real power lay in small, deliberate actions repeated day after day. When you take your first steps toward your own life, it often feels like the world is conspiring to hold you back. But those very moments when you choose to trust yourself and take just one small step toward improvement become the beginning of a remarkable story. His story was no different. Every morning, while the world slept, he worked silently, inching closer to his goals. And it was this consistency, this invisible effort, that would ultimately reshape his life entirely. People often said, "Where will you find the time? Where will you find the resources?" To him, these were not obstacles, they were challenges, awakening his creativity, his focus, his determination. Every failure became a lesson, every difficulty a stepping stone. Over the years, he began to stand apart from those who made noise but never acted. Those who showcased talent but never honed it through daily discipline. This story is not just about one person, it's about all of us who believe transformation is impossible. About those quietly building their power through daily habits. When you focus on incremental growth, when you celebrate small victories every day, your mindset begins to transform. And that transformation does not just change your life, it inspires everyone around you. Eventually, people noticed him. But by then, recognition mattered little. True satisfaction had already been found in the process itself. The growth, the learning, the quiet victories. Each small goal, each daily improvement, built a confidence that no external validation could provide. The lesson is clear. Real success is not about noise or recognition. It is about calm, persistence, about steady, deliberate effort. Each morning, each decision, each small step is an investment in your future self, a compounding force that will one day transform your life completely. If you awaken the silent warrior within, if you turn your daily habits into powerful tools, no limit can hold you back. Every choice, every effort reveals the potential you have within. And as you continue this journey, you will realize that real power is never in the noise. It is in quiet consistency, belief in oneself, and unwavering effort. As the days turned into months, and months into years, his journey became a quiet testament to the power of persistence. No one could see the countless hours he spent mastering his craft, refining his skills, and strengthening his mind. The world only saw results. But he knew the true magic happened in the unseen moments in the early mornings, the late nights, the moments when giving up seemed easier than trying again. Every challenge he faced became a lesson, every setback a stepping stone. Where others quit after the first sign of difficulty, he kept moving forward, learning, adapting, and evolving. The secret wasn't talent. It wasn't luck. It was a relentless commitment to small, consistent actions that compounded over time. Just as a drop of water eventually carves a canyon, his steady efforts shaped a life that once seemed impossible. There were days of doubt, moments when even he questioned the path he had chosen. Friends and family would suggest easier routes, shortcuts, ways to achieve recognition without effort. But he understood something fundamental. True transformation requires patience, it's discipline, and the courage to work when no one is watching. Each day he reminded himself that the process was the prize. Every quiet hour, every focused moment, was an investment in a future only he could imagine. The beauty of this journey is that it is invisible to most. The world celebrates instant success, flashy results, and loud achievements. But he knew the real triumph belonged to those who showed up every day, who embraced discipline over distraction, and who found joy in small, deliberate progress. It was in these silent moments that he discovered resilience, self-trust, and the ability to rise above fear, doubt, and criticism. And slowly, almost imperceptibly, transformation began. The habits he had built, waking early, focusing intently, reading, reflecting, exercising, learning, started to shape his character. His confidence grew, not because others praised him, because he knew the truth. His effort, repeated consistently, had power. And with that confidence came clarity, a vision of the life he wanted, and the patience to continue, step by step, day by day. He realized that the world doesn't give recognition to those who work silently. That's the paradox of greatness. The harder and quieter you work, the more profound the results. The seeds planted in solitude, watered with daily effort, eventually bear fruit in ways the world cannot ignore. And yet it is not fame or fortune that drives him. It is the quiet satisfaction of knowing that he is becoming the person he was always meant to be. This is the lesson for all of us. Small steps, taken consistently, have the power to create monumental change. One decision, one habit, one day at a time, builds a foundation that can support dreams bigger than we dare to imagine. If you can embrace the unseen, commit to the process, and trust in your own capacity to grow, nothing in life can hold you back. As he continued his journey, the world started to notice, not because he demanded attention, but because excellence always draws the eye. Yet even now, he remained humble, grounded in the knowledge that his success was built in quiet moments, invisible hours, and unwavering belief in himself. And so, the story unfolds, a story of patience, persistence, and the power of silent effort. The world may not always see your work, but that does not mean it is wasted. Every small action, every daily victory, adds up to the extraordinary. The question is, are you willing to show up for yourself, day after day, and trust that your efforts, no matter how quiet, will one day change everything? As time went on, the invisible work he put in began to manifest in ways the world could finally see. It wasn't sudden, and it wasn't loud. There were no headlines, no immediate applause. But those who observed closely noticed a shift in ease in his movements, clarity in his decisions, a confidence that came from knowing he had earned every step of his journey. The quiet hours of preparation, the relentless commitment to improvement, were beginning to show their true power. He began to understand a principle few truly grasp. Success is not a single moment. It is the accumulation of countless moments repeated over years. Each book he read, each idea he explored, each skill he practiced was like a brick carefully placed in the foundation of a house he was building for his future. And just like a house, the stronger the foundation, the taller it can rise. Opportunities started arriving not because he chased them, but because he had prepared himself to receive them. Doors that once seemed permanently closed began to open. And with each small victory, he realized that consistency was not just a habit. It was a superpower. It's the same effort that seemed mundane day after day became unstoppable momentum over time. Yet he remained humble. He knew that one failure, one misstep, could undo months of progress if he let complacency creep in. So he continued his rituals, unbothered by the noise around him. He rose early, focused intently, reflected deeply, and worked tirelessly. Others were distracted by instant gratification, by the need for recognition. But he understood that true mastery is silent, patient, and unwavering. Every interaction, every decision, began to reflect the growth he had cultivated in solitude. People started seeking his advice, respecting his perspective, drawn not to his words, but to the quiet authority his actions conveyed. And still, he did not flaunt his accomplishments. They were the natural result of dedication, not the goal in itself. He realized something crucial. Life rewards those who prepare, who work quietly, and who persist when it would be easier to quit. Every setback, every difficulty became another lesson. Another opportunity to refine his skills, to deepen his understanding, and to strengthen his resolve. The road was still long, but with each step, he moved closer to the person he envisioned himself becoming. And here lies the greatest lesson of all. Success is not about what the world sees. It is about what you do when no one is watching, about the silent victories that accumulate into extraordinary change. Every hour of focus, every act of discipline, every small improvement is a deposit into your future, a future only you have the power to create. As he progressed, he realized the most important truth. The world will always have doubters, critics, and distractions. But if you are committed to your own growth, if you nurture your habits, and if you embrace patience, you will rise above all of it. The journey is not glamorous. It is not immediate. But it is real. It is transformative, and it is unstoppable for those who choose it. And so, the story continues, proof that the quiet, consistent, daily efforts of one determined individual can ripple outward, influencing everything around them, shaping not only their destiny, but inspiring others to embark on their own journey of silent greatness. Slowly, the fruits of his persistent efforts began to appear. They didn't arrive overnight, and they didn't come with fanfare. But small achievements, quiet wins that seemed insignificant to others, began to accumulate into undeniable progress. Projects were completed, goals were met, and doors that had once seemed permanently closed were now opening. Yet, he remained as humble and focused as ever, understanding that each success was merely a reflection of his daily dedication. He discovered something profound. The world often celebrates sudden breakthroughs, flashy achievements, and loud displays of success. But those moments are the result of countless invisible hours of preparation. What others see as magic or luck is actually the product of discipline, patience, and relentless focus. Every early morning spent learning, every late night refining a skill, every small choice made with intention, these were the true building blocks of his rising life. As recognition slowly found him, he did not become arrogant or distracted. He knew that real growth is internal before it manifests externally. While accolades and praise may have begun to appear, he measured his success by his own progress, not by the applause of others. The quiet satisfaction of seeing improvement in himself was far more powerful than any external validation. People began to notice his presence. Colleagues, friends, and even strangers started observing the calm confidence he carried. They asked how he had achieved so much seemingly effortlessly. But the answer was simple, though hard for most to grasp. He had mastered the art of consistent, patient effort. He understood that life does not reward shortcuts or quick fixes. It rewards preparation, perseverance, and silent commitment to one's goals. Even when challenges arose, as they inevitably do, he faced them with clarity and resilience. Setbacks were no longer reasons to quit. They were opportunities to learn, adapt, and grow stronger. Where fear or doubt could have held him back, he remained steadfast, understanding that the journey itself was the true teacher. Every obstacle, every failure, became a lesson that propelled him forward, reinforcing the quiet power of discipline and persistence. And gradually, his story became an example for others. People began to realize that success is not about talent alone, nor about luck. It is about showing up every day, dedicating yourself to growth, and embracing the small, consistent actions that eventually create monumental change. He embodied the principle that transformation does not happen in moments of glory, but in moments of quiet effort repeated relentlessly over time. His journey serves as a timeless reminder. You do not need to be noticed to make progress. You do not need recognition to be powerful, and you do not need applause to achieve greatness. Every single day, each small step you take in silence compounds into a force strong enough to change your life completely. The world may not always see it immediately, but the results are inevitable for those who persist. And so, his story continued to unfold one quiet, intentional day at a time. Each morning brought new opportunities to learn, to grow, and to rise. Each small victory strengthened his confidence and sharpened his focus. And as he moved steadily forward, he became living proof of a powerful truth. Consistent effort, patience, and belief in oneself will always triumph over doubt, distraction, and impatience. As the years passed, the quiet dedication he had invested began to shape not just his skills, but his entire life. The habits he cultivated, early mornings, focused work, reflection, learning, and consistent effort, had become second nature. They were no longer actions he consciously forced himself to take. They were part of his identity. An identity, he realized, is far more powerful than fleeting motivation or external pressure. With each passing day, he noticed subtle shifts in the way the world responded to him. People began to trust him, to seek his insight, and to respect his judgment. Opportunities that once seemed unattainable were now within reach, not because he chased them, but because he had prepared himself silently to be ready when they arrived. And the irony was that the recognition did not drive him. The process itself had become the reward. He understood now that life does not favor the loudest or the flashiest. Life favors the patient, the disciplined, and those willing to invest in themselves when no one is watching. Every failure he faced had strengthened his resilience. Every challenge had deepened his understanding. Every quiet, unglamorous hour had compounded into a force that could not be ignored. And yet, despite all of this progress, he remained humble, grounded in the knowledge that the journey never truly ends. There is always another skill to master, another habit to refine, another level of self-mastery to achieve. Success, he realized, is not a destination, it is a continuous evolution. It is the sum total of countless silent actions taken consistently over time. He began to see the ripple effect of his persistence. His work ethic inspired others, not through words, but through example. Those around him began to adopt the same habits, the same dedication to quiet, steady improvement. And in witnessing their growth, he found another layer of fulfillment, proof that the impact of silent effort extends far beyond oneself. But the most profound transformation was internal. He no longer measured his life by external validation or fleeting achievements. He measured it by the growth of his character, the strength of his discipline, and the clarity of his vision. Every challenge was an opportunity to refine not just his skills, but his very self. Every setback became a lesson in patience, perseverance, and the quiet power of resilience. And so, his story serves as a powerful reminder. Success is not instantaneous, and greatness does not arrive with noise or spectacle. It is built silently, patiently, and relentlessly through habits that compound over years. Every day you invest in yourself, every small effort you make, is another step toward the life you are capable of creating. He realized that this journey, though long and often unseen, was the ultimate gift. The work itself was the reward, and for those willing to embrace the quiet, to commit to consistency, and to trust in their own potential, there is no limit to what they can achieve. The world may not always notice, but the results are inevitable for those who rise in silence every single day. And then, it happened the moment he had been preparing for all these years. Not a sudden stroke of luck, not an overnight miracle, but a natural result of countless quiet hours, deliberate actions, and unwavering focus. Opportunities that once seemed distant were now within reach, and the world began to take notice. People saw results not because he sought their attention, but because excellence, nurtured in silence, always has a way of revealing itself. The breakthrough was subtle at first. Project completed flawlessly, an idea executed perfectly. A moment of recognition that others might have considered small. But to him, it was a milestone, a confirmation that persistence, patience, and preparation do pay off. He understood that this was not the peak. It was merely the first visible sign of a journey long in the making. With this breakthrough came new challenges. As more eyes turned toward his work, he faced the temptation to become distracted, to chase validation, or to take shortcuts. But he remembered the lessons of the past. True growth comes from consistency, discipline, and silent effort. Recognition was welcome, but it was never the goal. His focus remained on mastery, on continuous improvement, and on the relentless pursuit of his vision. He realized that breakthroughs are never isolated incidents. They are the culmination of daily habits repeated over years. Every book read, every skill practiced, every moment of quiet effort had prepared him for this. Now the results were undeniable. What once seemed impossible was slowly becoming inevitable. Even as success became visible, he maintained humility. He knew that this was just one step in a much larger journey. The path ahead was long, and each day still demanded focus, patience, and effort. Yet the confidence he had built through years of preparation allowed him to navigate these new challenges with calm clarity. He no longer feared setbacks because he understood their value. Every obstacle was an opportunity to learn, refine, and grow stronger. And as the world began to acknowledge his achievements, he realized an essential truth. The people who rise quietly, who focus on daily improvement rather than immediate recognition, build a foundation far stronger than those who seek fame or applause. The visible success was just a reflection of the invisible work done in solitude. The true measure of greatness. This moment also inspired others. People who had been silently struggling in their own lives saw the results of discipline, patience, and persistence. They realized that quiet, consistent effort can produce extraordinary results, and that transformation is always possible for those willing to commit to the journey. And in seeing others inspired, he found yet another reward, a deeper understanding that the impact of one person's dedication can ripple far beyond themselves. And so, his story continues, a living testament to the power of silent, relentless effort. The breakthrough was just the beginning, a visible sign that years of preparation, patience, and consistency inevitably lead to transformation. For anyone willing to rise in silence, to work daily with focus and determination, the world's recognition will follow, but even if it doesn't, the true victory lies in the growth, the mastery, and the quiet confidence that can never be taken away. With his first breakthrough behind him, life began to shift in ways he had only dreamed of. The habits, patience, and silent discipline that had been his constant companions now bore fruit across every area of his life. His mindset was sharper, his focus unshakable, and his confidence rooted not in external validation, but in the deep knowledge that he had earned every step of progress through dedication and effort. Every decision he made now carried weight, every action was purposeful. Where once he might have been reactive, he had become proactive, shaping his environment and circumstances instead of being shaped by them. He understood that visible success is not simply about talent or opportunity, it is about mastering oneself, cultivating resilience, and showing up consistently, day after day. As his life transformed, people began to notice not just his achievements, but the way he carried himself. His calm authority, the quiet certainty in his actions, drew others in. They could feel the difference between someone who had merely stumbled into success and someone who had built it, brick by brick, with patience and focus. And it was this example, this embodiment of disciplined effort, that inspired others to reflect on their own choices and habits. He also realized that transformation is not linear. There were moments of doubt, unexpected setbacks, and challenges that tested his resolve. But now, equipped with years of practice and resilience and self-discipline, he faced these moments with clarity. He no longer feared obstacles. He embraced them as opportunities to grow stronger, wiser, and more capable. Each challenge became another layer of mastery, another chance to reinforce the principles that had guided him silently for so long. His daily routines became sacred rituals, waking early, exercising, learning, reflecting, planning, and working with unwavering focus. Each habit, repeated relentlessly over time, had compounded into the foundation of his current and future success. And the beauty of this process was that it was invisible to most, yet undeniable in its results. Success built in silence has a permanence that loud, fleeting achievements can never match. As he continued to rise, he understood a deeper truth. Influence is born not from shouting or showing off, but from quiet mastery. Those who observe consistency, focus, and self-mastery cannot help but be drawn to it. Others began to seek his guidance, to learn from his example, and to adopt similar habits in their own lives. His journey was no longer just about personal achievement. It was about inspiring transformation in those around him, silently yet powerfully. And so, his story illustrates a principle that transcends time. Quiet, persistent effort, when combined with patience, discipline, and belief in oneself, has the power to transform not just a single life, but the lives of many. For those willing to embrace the process, to rise daily in silence, the world begins to shift in their favor. The results are not instant, but inevitable. Every small choice, every daily effort, compounds into a life of extraordinary impact, influence, and fulfillment. And as he stood on the threshold of even greater achievements, he smiled not because of recognition, fame, or reward, but because he had mastered the art of becoming unstoppable, quietly, intentionally, and with unwavering purpose. His journey was proof that the greatest victories are built in silence, and that the power to rise lies within those who are willing to show up. every single day and commit fully to their own growth. By now, the life he had quietly built was undeniable. Every achievement, every milestone, every respect earned had been the product of years of patience, consistency, and silent effort. The transformation was not just external, it was deeply internal. He had become a person of focus, resilience, and unwavering belief in himself. Proof that greatness does not require noise, applause, or instant recognition. His journey had taught him that true success is rarely spectacular in the moment. It is quiet, subtle, and often invisible. But it is relentless, unstoppable, and transformative. Every early morning, every focused hour, every small improvement compounded into a life of extraordinary impact. And in this, he found fulfillment, not in the approval of others, but in the mastery of himself. Now he looked back at the years of silent work and understood the truth that many never see. The power to rise lies not in talent alone, not in luck, and not in opportunity, but in daily actions, repeated consistently over time. Every challenge he faced, every setback he endured, and every moment of doubt had only made him stronger, wiser, and more prepared for the life he had created. And as his story spread quietly, inspiring others without him needing to shout or boast, he realized another profound truth. The ripple effect of one person's dedication can reach far beyond their own life. By rising in silence, by committing to daily improvement, he had not only changed his own destiny, but had given others permission to believe that they could do the same. So let this be a reminder to you. The path to greatness is not flashy, it is not immediate. It is built in the quiet hours, the small choices, the daily habits that no one notices except the person who commits to them. You have the same power within you. You can rise silently, consistently, and intentionally. You can create a life of extraordinary impact, one small, deliberate step at a time. If there is one lesson to take from this story, it is this. Show up every day. Invest in yourself. Embrace the quiet work. Trust the process. The life you have always dreamed of will inevitably follow. And now, if this story inspired you, remember to subscribe to Still Rise, so you never miss another story that can change your perspective and fuel your journey to greatness. Hit the like button, share this video with someone who needs motivation, leave a comment below about the one habit you will commit to starting today. Your silent rise begins with one small step, and the journey starts now.